Velasquez. Resolved that the recommendation of the Planning and Budget Committee of Bronx Community Board 10, that the Bronx Community Board 10 projected FY 2018 OTPS internal budget be forwarded to the full board for its approval.
Motion to accept.
That's the only way you're going to get me to stop talking, you know.
All in favor?
Motion to accept. Will I have a second?
We got a second.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions? No? Okay. We got any nays, by the way? No nays. Okay. All right, that passes. Oh, the second half of the report is mine. Sorry. I got carried up with Marjorie's report. New York car. What is the New York car? Anybody know? Come on, we gave a lecture a couple of months ago. New York car. New York Community Airport Roundtable. That's the group, along with the Queens Quiet Skies group. We're trying to do something to ameliorate the plane noise and the pollution from the planes. The groups understand that there's no way we're going to do away with the airports. The airports are with us forever. And they're going to get bigger. Because I think one of the airlines is going to open 40 new gates. And with the commensurate air traffic. So what we have to do as a committee is try to get people and try to get the airlines to mitigate two things. The Giglio knows. What are the two things we have to mitigate? Come on. Noise and...
Public participation has been closed. Keep it to a board member.
Oh, okay. Noise and pollution. Those are the two things. So what's going to happen is they're going to try to mandate that only planes with quiet engines can fly into our area. Now, hopefully, they won't land into our buildings. What I would like to see them do is use the flight pattern off the river. You know, if they hit the bridge, they kill a few people. If they hit our homes, they kill a lot of people. So we've been very, very lucky today. And I don't want this to be a prophecy. So in any event, there's a very nice lady out in Queens, Congressman Grace Meng, and Suwasi, and also Crowley. The three of them mandated, with the funding for the FAA, the continuing resolution for funding in Congress, that FAA is required to do something about all of these till 2024. They have a limit to 2024. Hopefully I'm around to breathe the fresh air and not listen to the noise. In any event, we've decided, the Planning and Budget Committee, that we would send them a note of thank you. Resolved, at the recommendation of the Planning and Budget Committee of Bronx Community Board 10, that a letter be drafted and sent to U.S. Congressman E. Crowley, U.S. Congressman G. Ming, and U.S. Congressman T. Suwasi, thanking them for the FAA Reauthorization Act passed by the House in April, that's the House of Representatives in April, which included measures aimed at reducing excessive airplane noise over Queens and other impacted communities, and this be forwarded to the whole board for your approval.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstentions? Thank you very much.
Just one more item on that, Julian. I just want to mention that it wasn't just one or two items. They put actually 10 items that were requested by those organizations that those three congressmen were able to incorporate into this law that's been passed.
Thank you.
So they really worked very hard on our behalf. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
Lou, you're up.
question, we're meeting May 24th, at Grub City?
Yes.
Huh?
2049 Bartow.
24 on that,
2049 Bartow Avenue.
2409 Bartow Avenue,
Room 31.
room 31. Thank you.
Tommy, you're up.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. The Economic Development Committee met on May 2nd, 7:30. We have 2 new licenses for renewal. They were Split Rock Golf Course, 870 Shore Road, 10464, 10464, right, between Bartow, Pelham, Pelham Circle and Pelhamdale Avenue, license 121205513, which expires on 6/30/2018. And Carbo Restaurant, which is 3764 East Tremont Avenue, 10465 between Randall and Roosevelt Avenues, license 12699-941, which expires on 4/30/2018.
Yes.
Yeah. Want to vote these both together? There's no problems with these restaurants?
Okay.
Okay.
Resolutions.
Okay, resolved that the recommendation of the Economic Development Committee of the Bronx Community Board 10, that the following establishments apply for renewal license and agree to comply with the best management practices and standards containing with the stipulations by signing them, and to further agree to ATAP's training and their compliance be sent to the State Liquor Authority along with the resolution, and a vote be placed in the board's file. Can I get a motion to accept?
Motion to accept. Second.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? One accusal. Ruben has to accuse himself.
No, no,
No, you're not really.
COI.
You don't have to.
No, COI. Yeah. Conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Because COI is different, it doesn't, it affects your farm, it loses down by one.
Okay, we have 2 new licenses. Kabuki, which is on 3938 East Tremont Avenue, 10465 between Dewey and Sampson. The license is new, it was Formula Reno's. Their hours are going to be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. And they're just going to have recorded music. The next one is Plush, 53 Westchester Square, 10461 between Roberts and Pontoon Avenue. License is also new. Their hours are Monday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday, 12 p.m. to 4 a.m. They're going to request recorded music, DJ, jukebox, and karaoke. Can I get a motion to accept?
Motion to
So
accept.
moved.
Any second?
Second. Julie did it.
All in favor? On the question?
Discussion. I'd like to discuss this one here, Plush, is it? Give us more information on it, since we already had the community come out and talk about it. Give us a little bit more information so everyone knows what they're voting on.
Well, this was Legacy Bar, but that was a former bar. This is a new license, it's new owners. There was some incidents with the old owners. There was a couple of noise complaints. I reached out to the 45th. They didn't report any incidents coming from that bar. But like I said, this is a new owner. I think basically a lot of communities don't want bars in their area, and I understand that. But That's a landlord issue, I believe.
You just stay.
So-
Okay.
Give us the information.
Question?
You got more than that?
Yes, Martin?
What are they putting in place? New bar, what is he committed to?
It's the same thing. It's,
Yeah.
it's just a bar. It's just
I
gonna be
know,
another
but
bar.
being that we had specific problems at that specific location, did we look to have him try to foresee and address those issues when you had him before your committee?
Well, in the committee, we spoke to him about, like, what we want. We signed our stipulations. We, like I said, there was no 45th reports of anything. There was just 311 reports. There was just 311 reports, and there was no incidences about the 311 reports. There was no 911 incidents.
No, but I'm going by.
Oh, yeah, and
I wasn't
every-
at the meeting.
Right,
So
no, the
I'm going-
new owners, we did sit down, and we told them about the noise complaints, we stressed to him, we gave him the information that Senator Klein with the new stringent reports on the thing. We told him to reach out to Sergeant Dean if he has any problems with noise or incidents, he has to reach out to him. And he signed the stipulations, he also signed Senator Klein's new reports with the noise that we told him. And, we went over in committee with this. And like I say, he's a new licensee, so I really can't.
1, 2, and then me.
Yes, I have a question. Do you know if there's any relation between the new owner and the previous owner?
I don't have that
Because that always
information.
seems to have, you don't have that information.
No, there wasn't any, as far as we know, there wasn't any,
There wasn't any.
in other words, it wasn't his relative or his friends, new owners,
But there was no question.
no.
But it wasn't asked, right?
We have to ask that going forward.
Are you talking about Plush?
Plush.
The guy said he just worked there.
Right.
Yeah.
In committee,
And I have to say, I just asked, the representatives from the bid, and they said that they haven't heard any complaints about the Plush.
Okay, so they didn't hear any complaints about the bid. The bid doesn't have any, John? Okay.
Yeah, Larry.
Irene?
he did say he was going to be adding food, but does not have a kitchen. That was one of the changes that he said he was going to be making.
To make it a less bar food situation. Andrew?
Vote on these separately, since there seems to be a little issue with this. And when Mr. Rocco said he knew of 17 complaints.
That's what
Previous.
the 17 complaints that he was mentioning was the complaints that Matt found out about on the 311s, but was the previous owners. It has nothing to do with this guy. And even if he had 50, the SLA would not hold it against him.
But this new owner worked there at the time. We do know that.
He was a bartender, but that was about it.
Tommy, well, it's new ownership.
About it?
Are they keeping the same employees and the same security firm? What are they doing?
Well, we asked him about security, we went over all that stuff with, in our stipulations, security, scanners, stuff like that.
Is it a new security company or the same one and the same employees though?
I don't know if it was the same employees, I gotta be honest with you.
Did we spoke to them about their operating hours? I mean,
See, this is another thing too. I stressed on, if you look at my minutes, I did stress on the minutes that we really don't like people to stay open to 4 o'clock. I stressed it at committee. There's this new thing now that it's not new, they can stay open to 4, they're allowed to do that. I stressed on them that I do want last call between 2:30 and 3, no later than that. So there was a discussion on the committee about his hours. If you look in the minutes, they're noted there.
let's go to a vote for the first one, please.
I'll break this up and we could do,
Point of order,
yes, John.
I'd like to make a motion that we table this until we get the
Well,
information.
We're going for a vote on the first part, we just separated it. After we vote the first one, then you can make that motion. Okay?
We'll do this separate. Kabuki, 3938 East Tremont Avenue, 10465, between Dewey and Sampson, license new.
Motion to accept.
Motion to accept,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, that passes. We go to Plush, 10153 Westchester Avenue, Westchester Square, 10461, between Roberts and Pontoon. License is new. Can I get a motion to accept on the question?
I'm gonna make a motion that we table, this one until we get more information as to who the security team is gonna be and whether the employees are the same employees that they previously had, because otherwise we're gonna have the same issues there.
Do we have a second on the motion?
Second.
Okay, on discussion. Bob?
Okay, first of all, the committee did do its due diligence with Plush. I mean, we met with them, they are new owners, and by putting this off, it basically is stopping these people from going into business. So I want to say that I don't really feel we should be tabling this issue. 17 complaints that have been reported, you know, that could be one guy calling 17 times on 311. So we don't have any complaints from the police department. We had no real issues on this bar. The owners did say that they would try to do the last call on time. They signed the stipulations that we asked everybody to sign. They're taking the tips training. So I would recommend that we do not table this and that we call for a vote in favor.
Irene?
Thank you.
Bob, I did,
Irene?
go ahead.
Bob, is the business closing that before they go into transition to the new owner?
Well, they can't operate without a license.
But they have the existing license in
I
place.
don't know if he can carry that license over
They
completely, I'm not
have.
sure. I don't want to slow the guy down from going into business.
Okay.
Lou just reminded me that we did ask that question, and it did say that they were hiring new people, starting a new team, because we did bring up that we did have some issues with that bar.
All right, so I'm not weighing in one way or the other, just point of information. State liquor applications are time sensitive. So they wait for us to get it in. But in the past, we haven't gotten it in on time, and by the time we voted, the establishment already had their liquor license. So again, like Bob's saying, if you delay it, it doesn't mean state liquor authority won't issue it. So now's your time really it's a gamble if you motion it another month. Now's your time to speak.
Yeah, we have now at least heard that it is gonna be new employees. I was
Right.
sure
Well, we got to vote it down because it's already been seconded. So on that motion to table it, all in favor?
Aye.
One person, all opposed? Does not carry. Tom, back to you.
Okay. Also, the guy did come with his representative, I remember that. He did come with his representative, and like I said, we did question him thoroughly. We spoke to him and the owner. So I got a good feeling that he was going to do the right thing. So I'll read the motion.
Just read the point.
Okay.
Hey, Joe.
Resolved that the recommendation of the Economic Development Committee, Bronx City Board 10, that the following establishment apply for a new liquor license and agree to comply with the best management practices standards contained within the stipulations by signing them, and to further agree to ATAP's training, and that a compliance be sent to the State Liquor Authority along with the resolution, and a vote and copy be placed in the board's file. Plush 10153 Westchester Avenue, Westchester Square, 10461, between Roberts and Pontoon Avenue. License is new. Can I get a motion to accept?
Motion to accept.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Two opposed. Any abstentions? Thank you.
So carried.
So carried. The next was a change of method and operations. We have Sangria Cafe. They're on 2085 Bartow Avenue, 10475 between Ashley Loop and Co-op City. The difference here is they're they're in operation, they're doing a good job. The only alteration that they have is a sidewalk cafe where they're going to put the tables. They came to us with the blueprint on how they were doing it. They didn't have to go to housing and zoning because this is in Co-op City, and it's a River Bay Corporation, so they just needed their permission, and they got it. They just have to come to us and present what they're doing. So, resolved at the recommendation of Economic Development Committee. Yes, River Bay Corp, so they don't have to, it's just informing us. That's why they came to us. So, can I get a motion to accept that?
Motion to accept.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? So carried. The next is, well, oh, yeah. Okay. Resolved that the recommendation of the Economic Development Committee, Bronx Community Ward 10, and Valley Style should apply for a change in method of operations and agree to comply with the best management standards containing the stipulations by signing them and further agree to attend ATAP's training and their compliance be sent to State Liquor Authority along with the resolution and a vote. Copies be placed in their file. Comma Lounge and Tapestry Bar, 3758 East Tremont Avenue, 10465 between Randall and Roosevelt Avenues. License is 1270813, which expires on 1/31/20. Formerly the Vapor Lounge. There, he came to us. He came to us with his representative, and we really had a very thorough discussion with him on how we're not happy the way things were going. We had that prior to this, on the last previous meeting when he had some situations. We recommended that he change his name because the name has the same, bringing the same people over and over and back again. So he changed his name. We told him to change the hours. So he went from 4 a.m. to 3 a.m. And if you know about the bar business, Ruben will tell you, 4 a.m., 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. is when you really have problems with these bars. He's changing it to, he wants to add karaoke, live music, and do some comedy shows, so he can have less of the situation we discussed. He wanted hooker in there, and we had a big discussion on the hooker. That's it. Not hooker. Okay. I just wanted to see if you were paying attention. All right? And I see it. I want to make sure you fall asleep. Okay? He seemed very committed into the problems that he had in the past, and that he was willing to do whatever he has to do to make his establishment viable to the community again. Can I get a motion to accept?
I have a point of information.
Yes.
Let's get the motions first.
Okay, motion can.
We got Lou.
We got Lou. Can I get a second?
Second.
Bob Peters, second.
So I just want to inform the community board that I did go to Vapor Lounge after the last meeting on a Saturday night, just to see what it was like, hang out, have a drink. And the security suggestions that we had given to the manager, they were very strict with security. People had to wait outside, they carded everyone. They either had to check their coats so that there wasn't people with things in their pockets or put their coats in their vehicles. And then there was a second checkpoint. Once you got through the door, you had to stop and see someone else. So they did do that as far as what I could see. Everything else seemed to be fine. I didn't really move around too much, but it seemed that everybody was kind of doing what they were supposed to do as far as what we recommended that they do. They had 2 security guards outside, and then they had another employee right inside as soon as you got into the venue. So in light of that and the fact that they're doing something else that we kind of discussed, which was maybe change your entire image, I think this is a good mea culpa kind of situation where they're trying to turn it into something a little different than what it was before. So that's all I wanted to let you guys know.
Thank you. So your bottom line is you enjoyed yourself?
And I did not feel unsafe. It is a little loud in there, but you can't hear it when the door is closed. So when I was standing in front of the door, I actually couldn't hear anything. But when I was inside, I was like, it's loud in here, but you can't hear it outside.
You're already too old for that. Miss Debbie Hunt?
Thank you. So my question is, and you may not have the answer, I'm wondering, since they did make these changes, do we know like when the last complaint was, like any time frame of dates?
When they had that last problem with the fight, there was a fight in there. I spoke to Captain Gons, and there was no incidences after that that were reported.
Okay.
Nancy, did you have a question? Joe?
It's my recollection that when we last discussed this, when we had the meeting, I believe it was City Island, was there a major outpouring from residents within the community against this?
Yes.
So do we not go with what a community wishes are?
The incident that you're talking about was prior to even that other incident. They had the Super Bowl party, and I believe they had,
He's talking about the meeting on City
Yeah,
Island.
City Island. That was-
So just-
Mr. Chair, point of order? Point of order?
All right.
Can we have, it's stated succinctly, it seems like Tom's trying to sell these places.
I'm just telling you the facts.
Right.
The fact that she went in there, I have no stake in this. I don't own the place, and I don't
No, I
care.
don't mean to.
No.
I don't, I have no,
I get no money from Vapor Lounge
They
at all.
one,
had a heavy
I actually spent my money in there, and he didn't even know I was there. Nobody, none of you knew I was there. I didn't tell anyone until just 2 minutes ago.
okay, Mark?
You ready now? Okay. I think in this situation, and in this case, thank you, Taisha, because we had a board member that kind of went above and beyond on this. The gentleman did come in, he did make some pledges to us, and so far he seems to be keeping those up. So I don't think that we should hold against him anything that happened prior to this change. I think he's going out of his way to work with us as a board, and it wouldn't look good for us to have evoked such changes from him and then turn around and give him a hard time. I think that would be right for us.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. My only concern is the hour of operations during the weekday, 4 p.m. to 3 a.m. Especially school nights, community.
If you were at the committee, we did raise that objection because I thought that would be the weekend, but I guess I don't party as much as I used to. So, believe it or not, Thursday seems to be a huge night for people going out. And when I asked him about, well, what about Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and he expressed that he gets a lot of people from the police department that go out with their girlfriends, that go there. And that was one of the things that he says occasionally that he does stay open, but there's times when on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday they do close early. He just wanted to keep the option. It used to be till 4. He wants to keep the option till 3 a.m. because a lot of places, they do come after work, and he says the police officers, they get out at 12 o'clock, then they stop into his establishment. So that was the answer for that. But we did stress that, why do you need even 3 a.m. on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and Thursday. Thursday seems to be a big night all of a sudden to go out. And on the Monday and Tuesday, remember, Bob, we asked him about the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and he says he gets people that come, that work late, that come at that time. And Mary Jane.
Tommy, my concern is, I know that they have had 4 serious offenses, and at this last one was the threat to take their license away. That is when he decided that he was going to make some changes. I'm concerned that it's not a sincere effort, and I don't know if everybody knows about the serious offenses, and maybe if you could just go through quickly what they were, so that people know, how serious the offenses were if they're choosing to have a license.
I also just want to make a correction. He made some assurances to us after the Super Bowl incident, and I think he was unlucky with the subsequent incident. I don't think any restaurant or bar owner solicits people to come in and act a fool and create violence. And I think that was an act of really unfortunate circumstances that came at an extremely bad time, because he had just come in here completely embarrassed, from what I remember, about the Super Bowl incident. The owner had come in along with the manager about that incident that was completely a surprise to some bachelor dude and their friend went into the bathroom and came out in a bikini. Like, everyone was like, what is going on here? And then right after that, this thing happened. So I just wanted to make that correction. I don't think that he made these promises after the last incident.
Again, we don't have all the information, so we're just speculating right now. Mary Jane, you wanted what?
I'm not speculating, I was there.
No.
He made the promises
He was
before that
also
other
in
incident.
before that, and
Right, but what I'm saying is
No.
her characterization was that he only made promises to change after the last violent incident. I'm just making a correction that I was at the community board meeting, I was at our economic committee meeting, and he made some promises prior to that last incident. That's all I'm saying.
And they weren't kept.
okay. What did you want, Mary Jane?
I was asking if Tommy could just go through the violent incidences that he had, the 4 of them, so that people would know how serious they were.
You know?
I would think, again, as I said, we put him to a spot, and we need to judge him from that spot that we put him at now. I mean, if we're gonna go back 2-3 years on it, that's not, wouldn't be right, that wouldn't be fair.
No, this is.
We've asked this of this bar owner, okay, and we're gonna look to ask for this from other bar owners. And if we need to show just as much of a commitment in getting those changes. We want the other bars to follow suit. So for us to turn on the gentleman before he's had a chance, I don't see it.
There was some.
Wait, hold order. Mary Jane had a question. Do you have the answers? There was a slashing of a woman back in November.
Right.
114 stitches on the face.
Right.
There was another incident with, supposedly a bachelor party.
No, the bachelor party was the next
And we had them in after that. Then there was another problem with a bottle and a fight and another slashing. So that was all within 6 months of the incident, maybe 7 months from now. And City Island, we voted for the SLA to take some sort of action 2 months ago. So that's where we're at right now. So, any other questions on this? We had a lot more on our agenda. All right? So we can move for a vote?
Chairman, can we do a roll call vote on this one?
Yes, we can. We're ready for that one. We knew you were gonna ask for it, Joe. Thomas Accomando.
Yes.
Sorry. Hannah.
No.
Raquel.
Yes.
Rob Barbaros.
No.
Robert Beater.
Yes.
Joe Boyko.
No.
Peter Cantillo.
Yes.
Aisha.
Yes.
Colonel Chin.
No.
Andrew.
No.
Lauren Council.
Yes.
Michelle's not here.
Yes.
Terry.
There.
Oh, I see it. Oh, there she goes. She got the sign.
Aye.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes? Okay.
Terrence Franklin.
Yes.
Irene.
Abstain.
Debbie Hunt.
Abstain.
Okay. Let's get the abstentions correct again. If it's not a yes, it's a no,
I
even
know.
when you're abstaining. Just keep that in mind.
I know, but
Okay.
that's what I want to vote.
Brendan?
No.
No. Julian?
Abstain.
Abstain. Mary Jane?
No.
Denise?
No.
Joe?
Yes.
Jesselyn?
Yes.
Christos?
Yes.
Alvin Ponder? Dr. Alvin Ponder?
Yes.
Lou?
Yes.
Martin Prince?
Yes.
John Robert?
Yes.
Ruben? COI? Okay. Bishop Nancy?
Abstain.
Joe Russo?
No.
Tony Salamini?
No.
No. Stephanie Woods?
No.
You didn't call me?
Oh,
Oh.
I would forget.
How did you get you? Dorothy, go ahead.
Yes.
Did we miss anyone else? Oh. Yeah, I don't know how we missed Dorothy.
Did the chairman vote?
No,
Yes.
it's having a vote.
That evening.
Doesn't pass.
16 in favor,
So opposed.
12 opposed, and 4, so it doesn't pass.
Doesn't pass, it was 17 to pass.
The motion does not carry.
Motion doesn't carry.
Chairman, point of information.
Yes.
I guess what the committee members don't understand is that you're voting for a change in method of operation. The venue has an active license that will continue to operate. What the person is willing to do, which is my business partner in another business, is that he's looking to change the image, rebrand himself, and make changes that do that, while the matter before the state liquor authority takes time. As it stands right now, the vote that you took does not going to allow
Excuse me,
you
but I
to.
think you're out of order with
Yes,
this.
definitely.
You're absolutely,
it's a
we all have the right to
clarification
vote
that's
how we
important.
choose, and we don't need to be lectured on which way we should vote.
No, I didn't say
Joe,
what you was.
Joe.
I said what you were voting for.
We understand.
Guys, I recognize the person. He's a board member, he has the right to speak. Even though we don't agree, he has the right to speak. All right, so you want to finish up?
No, so that's what I'm saying, so it's, the vote that you took, I understand carries the sentiment of the community, but there's a process in place before the state liquor authority that everybody, including elected officials, have weighed in. But in the meantime, during that process, you have taken the opportunity to rebrand a business to try to correct itself in the view of the owners, and now what you're selling is that no, you have to continue operating exactly the way you are with the same name without making any changes or making that additional investment. And that's it.
I wish you would have said
Said
that
that
before,
before, right?
because I think that clarification would have been very helpful.
That's
Unless you're willing to, unless you're willing
The
to.
change of name is not necessary to be voted on. The method of operation is being voted on. So that's
Hey, Julia, public speaking portion's over.
fine, but it's misinformation, so clarify.
It's not
It's written
misinformation.
It's not a debate. Okay, so the vote's been taken, right? We have nothing else on this. It didn't pass. We're gonna go over to Joe Russo.
Good job, board member. Good job.
Yeah. What, sir?
He has a resolution.
I know, but I want to get to the big ones. I don't want to lose quorum this month. I know, I'm watching stuff. I think,
I'm going. Unless I refuse me.
Okay, everyone, thank you. Bob, thank you for letting me jump ahead. I took the April meeting off, so while I was away, my committee did a bang-up job as usual. Minutes self-explanatory. There are a number of resolutions regarding street activity permits. I'll read the street activity, the events, and then we'll vote on the resolution. Event 390671, Bangladeshi American Heritage Single Block Festival, August 6th, 1 to 7.
Correction, they changed the date to August 5th.
August 5th?
Okay.
August 6th was a mistake, it was a Monday. It should be changed to August 5th.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
Event 397934, Bangla Mela Block Party, June 24th, 7 p.m. No, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Event 413702, 9/11 Memorial Cemetery, September 11th, 6 to 8. Event 410565, 8th Annual Griswold Avenue Block Party, August 11th, 1 to 8. Event 413248, Fairfax Avenue Block Party, July 28th, noon to 7:30. Event 400121, Carnival of Love Block Party, July 21st, noon to 7. Event 413812, 2018 Harrington Avenue Block Party, August 4th, noon to 9. Any questions on those events? Okay.
Make a motion.
Motion on the resolution to approve those events?
Motion approved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. Okay. The committee also took up the petition for the removal and replacement of signage along Brush Avenue, was submitted by the residents of the Ferry Point community. The committee discussed it and resolved that at the recommendation of the Municipal Services Committee, that the request to remove the no standing anytime signage on Brush Avenue between Wenner Place and Schley Avenue be forwarded to the full board for approval.
Motion approved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
We
Any
got,
abstentions?
we got one COI, Tom Lacomando.
Okay, we have one COI. Otherwise it's unanimous.
And Denise,
Okay.
she works.
So we're almost unanimous.
Yes, we still are. There's a conflict, so they can't.
Great.
All right?
Also, we had 2 street overlay requests. One was for Detective Joseph Lem. Resolved at the recommendation of the Municipal Service Committee that the request for a street overlay at the corner of Bayshore Avenue and Ampere Avenue in honor of Detective Joseph Lem be forwarded to the full board for approval.
Motion to accept?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Passed. And then we had another resolution which we heard about earlier before. A resolution at the recommendation of the Municipal Service Committee that the request for a street overlay on the corner of Edison Avenue and St. Teresa Avenue in honor of Michelle Muccio be forwarded to the full board for approval.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, thank you very much.
Come around.
Who's next?
Moving right along.
Trying our best. Bob, I'm gonna, if it's all right, just jump to Franklin. We didn't vote on these resolutions last month.
That's
I
okay.
wanna make sure we get them
I'm not
done.
going anywhere.
Keeps him on his toes.
Okay, Parks and Recreation. These 2 resolutions are what carried over from last month because we didn't have quorum. Resolution, at the recommendation of the Parks and Recreation Committee of the Bronx Community Board 10, that a letter be prepared and sent to Bronx Borough Commissioner in support of the playground for children in Sensory Garden in Pelham Bay Park, and that this be forwarded to the full board for approval.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, next. Resolution. At the recommendation of Community Board, at the Parks and Recreation Committee of Community Board 10, that a letter requesting funding for the repair of Pelham Bay Park Field number 4 and 5 be prepared and sent to the council member Mark Jonah and forwarded to the full board for its approval. Motion to accept. Any abstentions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, thank you.
Anything else to report?
The minutes, as you can see, as read. I wasn't in attendance at the last meeting, so you can read your minutes as opposed. There were no other things.
Thank you. Bob?
Settle in, folks, I got 2 months to report. Okay, we're going to start with our April meeting. First off, we had a guest speaker, and his name is rather lengthy, Jorge Luis Panagua Balen. He's the chief of staff of the nonprofit organization, the Mayor's Fund to Advance New York City. Through a private-public partnerships, they're looking to build 50 soccer fields throughout the 5 boroughs over the next 5 years. Their public-private partnership is the U.S. Soccer Foundation, New York City Football Club, Adidas, and Etihad Airways, and the private partnerships, or the public partners rather, are New York City Department of Education, Department of Parks, and Housing Authority. We have before us an opportunity to have one of these built at 700 Baychester Avenue at MS 180 Middle School. So the field will support programs for youth soccer, which will have both health and social benefits. We also suggested that they reach out to the DYCD contractor, who is Montefiore Mashulu, does community organization. They have the youth program there. So we thought not only could they have the 75 to 90 minute 3-day-a-week minimum, but they could also bring in some volunteers from there as well, so that their youth can also participate, and we can maybe make this grow a little more. So the resolution reads, resolved at the recommendation of the Youth and Education Committee, Bronx Community Board 10, to send a letter of support to the Mayor's Fund to Advance New York City, and that the resolution be forwarded to the full board for approval, and a copy of the letter is attached. Can I get a motion to accept?
Motion.
And a second? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, that was easy. Also at that meeting, we had our re-elections for chair and for vice chair. So I was reappointed, or we voted in it for another term as chairman of the Youth and Education Committee. And Lauren was voted in as our vice chair. Even though she wasn't present, they kind of rope her in like that. But at the next month's meeting, we did ask her, and she graciously accepted. So thank you very much. I appreciate the help on that. Okay, let's move on. Now, the other thing we did at that meeting, the internship program. There's also attached a letter that went to the Throgs Neck Merchants meeting. And at the Throgs Neck Merchants meeting, we had representatives from DYCD and the Department of Ed, Career Technical Education, come out and do a presentation to those merchants. And Irene Gunhill-Ulovich has kindly invited us to come out to the, I screwed it up again?
Yeah, you did.
All right. Anyway, Irene was kind enough to invite us to come out to the Pelham Bay Merchants on the 23rd, and we'll be out there promoting this again, and the merchants will all get a letter showing them how they can sign up for the various internship programs that both DYCD and Department of Ed do. So hopefully we'll get some more that way. And moving on to the May meeting, we did in fact have our Yankee scholarship winners come out, and we gave them their scholarships as well as 5 tickets to the Yankee games. And I just want to reiterate their names as I've mentioned them in the past, but I think it's worth mentioning again. Mohammed Bashar from Co-op City, Jennifer Lynn Cologne from Schuylerville, Olivia Diaz from Throgs Neck, Joel Granaski from the 45th Precinct Explorers, who was the gentleman who spoke to us tonight, and Beatrice Meadow from Co-op City. So all the winners won $750 from the Yankees, as well as 5 tickets to what is Community Board 10 Day at Yankee Stadium. And Dr. Alvin Ponder will be showing them, we'll be going with them to the game this year. Thank you for representing the board that night. Okay, so that's basically it. We discussed a couple other things. As far as the soccer fields go, we had a thought that we might want to ask for a second soccer field, because when the Mayor's Fund for New York City came out to us, they said they were open to suggestions. Our initial thought was maybe in St. Peter's Park. I went over there and they weren't really interested. But one of the kids there made a great suggestion, and that was that we check the Lewis and Clark School. So I went over there and they have a huge field where there's a great area where it would not interrupt. So we're going to reach out. I know Matthew's already reached out to the principal. So we're waiting for a response. And I reached out to the Mayor's Fund again, to the Jorge, and they would be very interested in building a second field as long as the principal approves it. So it'd be real nice if we could have competition on soccer from Co-op City to Westchester Square. So I'm hoping that that'll come to fruition. We'll keep working on that. And I think I've covered just about everything. So I thank you all.
Thank you, Bob. As I'm walking over to Health and Human Resources, I got a floor resolution. At the recommendation of the first Vice Chair of the Community Board number 10, that a letter of support be drafted on behalf of Sanitation Salvage of the City of New York, to the City of New York, and that this be forwarded to the full board for approval. Do I have a second? Do I got a motion to accept? A letter of support for the company. I don't know, it's something that...
Peter, what's that all about? I read it, but I don't even...
It's something that they've been asking other community boards and the elected officials. This is an outfit that did volunteer work and community service work during, Hurricane Sandy, so they just asked us for a letter of support. I really don't know what the letter of support,
To what? Support what?
Just saying that they're good.
Their Board 11 actually drafted a letter of support for this organization, for this business. They had an issue that was reported in the Daily News a couple weeks back. I'm not too sure of the timetable. There was an incident where someone attached themselves to the garbage pickup and that person got hurt. The Daily News article reported that perhaps it was the driver's fault in that matter. That wasn't the case, and I think they're having some issues with the Business Integrity Commission, and they're going around the boards for letters of support, one of which has been issued by CB 11. And the first Vice Chair, of course, is
Go ahead.
I think that's something that we should not get involved in. From what I've read in the papers, okay, there's been that whole thing of the gentleman being killed is under suspicion. There was talk that he worked for the company off the books or something of that nature and was working at the time. And people on the truck said that he was a stranger. I think it's just too nebulous for us to be writing letters of support or something.
No problem.
Really don't.
Do we?
Again, no proof I was not there, according to what Martin referred to, the newspaper article that this gentleman had more than that. We're still driving.
Okay, but we're all talking, if we're jumping ahead of ourselves. Was there a motion to accept? If there's not a motion to accept, we can move on.
Motion to accept.
Do I have a second? So it's dead in the water. Let's move on. Nancy, you're up.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Health and Human Services. We had our meeting on May 9th. We had 9 members present, so we had quorum. And it was resolved at the recommendation of the Health and Human Services of Bronx Community Board 10 to table the town hall meeting, which was passed on 2 months ago, indefinitely until elected officials and community boards and/or organizations show a commitment to its establishment and that this be forwarded to the full board for approval. And it was passed in committee.
Motion to accept.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Abstention?
Abstain.
1 abstention.
2 abstentions.
2 abstentions.
Hold on.
I just wanted to ask a question. I was at the meeting and I understood that in lieu of the meeting, that we were going to invite.
The minutes, they're in the minutes, Mary Jane.
Yeah, and was that done?
Yes. With the help of the governor's office, yes.
So carried.
So after discussion as to the benefit of we had discussion as to the gathering of rules and regulations to be followed by Montepio Emergency, then to be able to discuss if they're following the procedures, and in addition to verification of complaints with specific incidents, date, time, etc. And it was agreed for the district manager, Anaida Samaj, to write a letter of invitation to the Joint Commission for the June meeting. The letter will request a report card for Montefiore Weiler and a request for the number of emergency room admissions and the number of emergency room readmissions for the same patient, and also to obtain a list of violations and labor and delivery complaints as suggested by Ethan Gonzalez. It was agreed also to send an invite to the New York State Department of Health. If the Joint Commission is unable to attend the June meeting, it was agreed to hold a meeting in July. The Health and Human Services Committee will have the Healthy Lifestyle Walk on Saturday, June 30th at 10 a.m. at Maritime College. Thank you.
Thank you.
Before you go on, I did leave one item out that I wanted to mention.
Go ahead.
My report. Just real quick, I just wanted to mention that our committee had asked to meet at 7 o'clock instead of 7:30. So starting in September, all of our committee meetings for the youth committee will be at 7 o'clock. Just something for you all to consider. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thanks for your patience, everyone. The minutes are in your packet. They speak for themselves. One positive note, we will be meeting with other community boards, veterans committees in the near future. I think that's an exciting move forward for us. We've been having good turnouts, and it'll be great to get all the community boards on board. And the only thing we ask of you is, when you see the furniture ads on TV, and before you have that first hot dog on Memorial Day weekend, remember those who did not come home. And remember our young people who are still struggling after coming home. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Tony. I think we should have a motion that if anyone puts a resolution in front of us from the board, they better show up for that meeting. That they can't throw it in the resolution and then not show up. That's a little silly. You're up.
It's an unusual night.
Yes.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
I'm going to be quick because I know everyone's watching the clock. This is our last opportunity to nominate your fellow community board members. I encourage you to, again, nominate people that you think will be an asset to the executive board. I'm just going to go through each position, let you know who has currently been nominated. I'm only going to list the people who've accepted the nominations, and then I'll ask if you have any additional nominations for those positions. So for chair, we have Peter Sullivan and we have John Morano. Do we have any other nominations for chair? Okay, the nominations for chair are now closed. For vice chair, we have, I thought I saw a hand, no? Okay, we have Irene and Marjorie. Any other nominations for first vice chair?
Oh, Marjorie declined. Marjorie?
Yes, she did decline, my apologies. So it would just be Irene. Do we have any other nominations for first vice chair?
Yes, I'd like to nominate Martin Prince for first vice chair.
Martin Prince. What's your last name? I'm sorry. Oh, Barbarelli. Do we have a second?
So I'll move second.
Joe.
Joseph? Okay.
Does he accept?
Would you accept the nomination, Mr. Prince?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any other nominations for first vice chair? Okay, nominations for first vice are now closed. Second vice chair, John Morano and Joseph Anu. Are there any other nominations for second vice chair?
I have,
Martin Prince.
I have my hand up.
She had her hand up first, yes.
I have nominated Naida Samaj.
She declined.
Okay.
Julian, you have a nomination
Yeah,
for
Martin.
second vice chair?
Yeah, Martin Prince.
Do we have a second?
Bob.
Would you accept again?
Why not?
Any other nominations for second vice chair? Okay, nominations for second vice chair are now closed. And secretary, we have Peter Cantillo and Alvin Ponder. Any other nominations for secretary? Okay, hearing none. Nominations for secretary are now closed. We have one other point, or one other, issue for the board. There was brought to our attention. Oh, I'm so
Treasurer.
sorry, on the back of the page, we
Back
have
page.
Marjorie for treasurer. We have any other nominations for treasurer?
Madam Chairwoman, I rise to nominate the former board chair, current co-chair of planning and budget, as a candidate for the treasurer to the board, to the executive board, the Honorable Martin Prince.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Stephanie Woods had her hands up. Mr. Prince, do you accept?
Of course.
Any other nominations for treasurer?
Andy Chirico.
I'm sorry?
Andy Chirico.
Second.
Who said second?
Irene.
Irene.
Does he accept?
Would you accept?
Yes.
All right. Any other nominations for treasurer? Wait, Joseph, you had your hand up? Who would you like to nominate? Irene for treasurer? Do we have a second? You're declining? Okay. And Nancy? You're declining? Okay. Any other nominations for treasurer? Nobody wants to deal with numbers. I understand. I don't really like math either. All right. So is it safe to close the nominations for treasurer? All right. So nominations are now closed. So the only remaining...
For the nominations to be closed. Just put the phone call.
Can we motion to close nominations? Second? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. We have one other issue for the board. I think it's come to our attention that some of the board members would like to have paper ballots instead of the roll call ballots. So we will put that to a vote as well.
Discussion.
If you have any questions or discussion, anyone for paper ballots want to speak first? Mr. Ponder, are you for, because you mentioned you wanted discussion? I know, but you mentioned you wanted, I heard you.
Thank you for recognizing that. First of all, at least last year, if not prior years, we've had problems making quorum. And one of the reasons why we had problems, I know last year, is there a problem?
It's okay.
All right. I didn't know if I had to give CPR. One of the reasons why it's come to my attention, at least when I was chairperson of nominations and elections, is that people did not want to, what should I say, vote against their friends, and so they would stay home. And we had a problem, even though these results are going to be published. And also, there has been indication that some people are intimidated with the roll call of the vote. The problems regarding a paper ballot can easily be solved, whether or not we prepare multiple ballots with their names. This can be easily solved. And I think it will encourage people to be here. We'll have quorum. It will take away some of the intimidation factor that we may have. I think it is a wonderful way for democracy to occur in this board, especially as you see an attempt for inclusion and diversity on this executive board.
Irene?
As far as the paper versus roll call, it's more efficient with roll call. It goes quicker, it's easier, it's straightforward. With the ballots, we didn't